No secret the Dallas Cowboys are struggling mightily, coming off another loss and their quarterback Andy Dalton injured. So Jerry Jones has a weekly radio appearance on 105.3 The Fan, and today it got a little heated. Jerry was asked if the team has a leadership void. Take a listen to this exchange.
But seriously, where would you have a leadership void? Is it an experience void? Is it a talent void? Is it a leadership void? I'm not trying to be cute here. The answer is no. The answer is no.
I'm asking.
There's not a. Well, just shut up and let me answer. No. When I go into the locker room, there's no leadership void in my eyes.
So Jerry did go on to walk back a little bit of that testiness at the end of the interview. But Marcus, you're taking a deep breath after you heard that. What do you make of Jones' comments?
I mean, listen, Jerry knows it's a leadership void. We play this same song. We've been playing this same song. But it's obvious on this team. Your leader fractured his ankle, okay? Yep. And he's not in the locker room anymore to make sure everything is running smoothly. Guys are getting back on track. It relates on the field as well. Dak Prescott was on the field. This team was still bad. They were still having turnovers. The defense was still giving up a lot. And they were in games because Dak Prescott was on the field being a leader. There's a leadership void. And then you go to another level. The coaching staff. It's a leadership void. This team is making the same damn mistakes they've been making since week 2 of the season. So at some point, the leadership of the coaches need to say, hey, we're not going to allow ourselves to be beat this way anymore. That's the second thing. The third thing is the general manager. Yes, Jerry Jones, I'm talking to you. Maybe it's time for somebody to come in that's going to be ingrained in roster building, making sure you don't have cataclysmic problems if people get injured or you lose position groups or things like this transpire. Defensively, you are devoid of talent. I don't know if anybody else told you, but you are. You're devoid of talent up front. There's not enough playmakers and players on the defense right now. It's a leadership void on all 3 levels. And anybody that's watching football, been around football, and watching what's happening in Dallas knows it's a damn leadership void and also a production void and wrong decisions being made. And I'm going to leave it at that because I've been around this game long enough. I started playing football when I was 6 and finished when I was 31 years old. That's 25 years of football. Played in the league 9-4 in college. And when the leadership void is missing, I can tell because I've been a part of it. Yes, it's a void.
That's called keeping it 100.
There you go.
I think the Cowboys organization has been exposed over the past couple weeks. When we talked about Dak Prescott for the last 18 months, it was always the contract situation. And when it tied to the financial aspect, it was often like the Cowboys wanting Dak. Now, the reports have come out that they offered him a really, really good contract, and he has decided to say no, right? Maybe he knew more than we did. You know, maybe he knew a little bit more about what the reality of that organization was. And I think Dak Prescott is sitting there right now going, you know what? As I'm sitting there watching this unfold, maybe Dallas isn't the right place for me. Like maybe Dallas is not the place for my future because if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm sitting there going, how can they fall apart so fast, so much without me? Like he's a really good player. I get all that. But teams lose players and quarterbacks at times and they don't fall apart. The Cowboys organizationally have fallen apart. And I think Dak is going, you know what? This isn't a one-year fix. Me coming back next year is not going to fix everything that's going on with Marcus's point at the top and what's going on with the lack of leadership at the head coaching position and what's going around the lack of leadership at all the coaching positions and the other players. The Cowboys organization in many ways has been exposed.
Players change, quarterbacks change, coaches change, but the one constant here is the owner, Jerry Jones. After he, sniped at that radio host, he apologized by saying, well, there's an old saying, if old man has a little money, you don't want to piss him off or something. I don't even think that's a real saying, by the way, and it's very syntactically confusing. But let's talk about that money, Jerry, and let's talk about how you spent it. Because in the year 2020, there is nothing more important in football than passing the ball and stopping the pass. Jerry Jones chose not to pay their quarterback who passes the football. I know they offered him a contract, but it wasn't what he wanted, okay? And meanwhile, he didn't invest money in stopping the pass and the right players. Ezekiel Elliott, they drafted before Jalen Ramsey, who we saw balling out last night. They paid him and Jalen Smith, let Byron Jones walk, and they can't pass the ball or stop the pass. It's not that complicated. It's not complicated. This is a poorly built football team, and you're seeing the consequences.
Let's get Adam Schefter back in here for a little more context. And Shefty, the Cowboys were one of the first teams making a coaching hire last offseason when other teams were certainly looking around. But what led them to Mike McCarthy so quickly?
Well, I think the fact that he had the track record he did in Green Bay, Laura, and the fact that he had taken off a year of football, studied the game, and they felt he was ready. And Mike McCarthy is an excellent football coach. There's no issue there. The issue is that they conducted a two-person search. They interviewed Mike McCarthy, they interviewed Marvin Lewis, and they called it a wrap. Now, if we go back over time, teams that conduct almost annual coaching searches seem to go through 6, 7 candidates. The executives conducting those interviews are away for a couple of weeks. The Dallas Cowboys last did a coaching search back in 2010, and the man they wound up hiring came from within the organization, Jason Garrett. So they knew him. So they really haven't gone out and talked to other candidates, younger, older, different perspectives. We don't know what they might have gained from doing a process like that. It can't hurt to listen in, to hear what other qualified coaching candidates might say and think about your current roster. They were quick to wrap it up because they believed in Mike McCarthy. They felt he was the right man, and they didn't need to go any further. And so far, the results are what they are. A lot of people disgruntled, a lot of people pointing fingers, a lot of people unhappy. The fact of the matter is, they're not going to make a head coaching change. They're not thinking about making a head coaching change. There might be assistant coaching changes that are going to be coming sooner rather than later, but it's not going to be the head coach that they're going to change because they still believe they found the right man.
Yeah, the Cowboys off to a 2-5 start. That's their worst start through 7 games since 2015 when they also started 2-5. We got more coming your way on NFL Live, so stay tuned for this. Tom Brady's been looking like the Tom Brady, like GOAT status Tom Brady. Why is he so good right now? Mina's got some ideas. We'll be right back.